And welcome back to Late Night Love. All right, so we're just going to step right into the quiet corners of adulthood, the places where work identity and emotional safety collide, from partners who melt down when responsibility shows up, to coworkers who make your body shake, to employers who want loyalty without offering security, to the generational exhaustion of trying to stand on your own 2 feet. This is the part of the night where we name the weight we've been pretending isn't there. That's that kind of truth. I think we all have to deal with those things. The last, few months of my career life has been unsettled, shall we say.
It's been in transition.
Yeah, there's lots of things transition. So,
Yeah.
You kind of buckle down, you do what you need to do. Like many others, it's when you're part of an organization that is downsized, you're the part that's left over. You've got to figure out how to accomplish a mission with less, not just monetary resources, physical resources. Yeah. Sometimes there's vast room for efficiencies, right? Maybe some old, especially nonprofit organizations have a tendency to not evolve with the times. Yeah. So let's say they'll stay analog in a digital world. And now we're moving past the digital world to an AI world.
Yeah.
And you got some of these places are still, have squarely 2 feet set in the analog world. They're still doing everything by paper. And so, there's room for evolving.
That's a job. That's a project right there.
It's a project and there's lots of people going through it. It's hardly anything new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not just me. It's everybody. There's a lot of, they're blaming AI for layoffs when the reality is they were bloated. They have more people than they need to do the jobs they needed to do. Because of the COVID inefficiencies, they needed more people than they actually need. And that's where, the lack of loyalty is. You got to understand, if there's no job, there's no job. If there's no work to do, there's no job.
Yeah.
It just is. Yeah. Whether it's AI or a computer instead of a typewriter, or a typewriter instead of a quill and pen, this is no different. Mm-hmm. So it's just the next evolution of all that. We as humanity have always evolved past it, and we will again.
Yes, we will.
We just don't know what it's going to look like because we never do.
We never do.
Did we know what the other side of the Industrial Revolution was going to look like? People, no. And of course, the first question is, which one? There's been lots of industrial revolutions. So you have to pick one, but pick any of them. No one knew it was going to be on the other side. Heck, most people didn't even know they were in an industrial revolution when they were in the middle of it. Get you buried in the middle of it to understand it. Mm-hmm. It's not until you can take a step back and say, this arbitrary period, we're going to call it an industrial revolution. Well, really all that means is they changed how industry worked. That's really all the industrial revolutions are. From pure manpower to some type of water power, right? Then you use horses and animal power, and then you get tractors, which, and then you got steam versus internal combustion engine. That was a real change. We went from steam power, water power to electricity.
Yeah.
And internal combustion. Those were two massive changes. One could argue that's the cause of the Great Depression. All the stuff that had powered the generation before was immediately worthless. You couldn't get a loan off of it because it was no longer a functional factory. It was inefficient. The guy with electricity could work 24 hours. You can only work in his daylight. He had 1,000 machines powered by electricity with 1,000 people running, with one person running each machine. Staff of 1,000, you needed 10,000 people to do the same work. No one's going to give you a loan for your building, for improvements. It's cheaper to build a new one. and retrofit your old thing.
Uh,
So, yeah, a lot of people's investments became worthless overnight. And when you have margin calls based upon the theoretical value of, of those investments, next thing you know, lots of people's lives are ruined. Well, they weren't really, but they thought they were. Just had to change how your life was going to be.
yeah.
I mean, your life was different, to be sure, but it wasn't, ruined. But
Wasn't over.
well, far too many chose that path, but
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
far, far too many. Now, in the grand scheme of things, it wasn't all that many, but
One's too many.
yeah. Okay, so let's get started off.
Okay, this is one for you. I feel like my boyfriend fakes meltdowns to avoid doing things I want to do. Now, well, it's one for me too. I think there's some anxiety going on here. I know for me, if you're going to tell me, let's go do something, panic. Come on, give me at least 2 hours to get ready. Come on.
Well,
I have anxiety. I can't do that.
yeah, you're gonna have to understand: is he anxious, socially awkward? What's the actual issue?
Uh-huh.
Because she says he has a meltdown. Well, is he,
What are you asking him to do? Are you asking him to go against his nature?
now on occasion he should man up and do it, right?
Yeah.
Because I had an anxiety disorder, but on occasion you had to man up. But the other side was you don't over ask. As the second time, if someone gets drained by parties,
Crowds, people.
yeah, then should the on occasion go? Sure, but should you modify your desire to go? Yes, as well. Find a compromise. But also, is there reasons? Is he somewhere on the autism scale, Asperger's or something? So his meltdown is genuine. Is he, like many 22-year-olds these days, simply doesn't know how to manage his emotions and he can't actually have a discussion? And what his meltdown is, he literally doesn't know how to communicate because he's never had to in his life. And now he has to communicate things that are uncomfortable. You see that all over
Yeah.
it's not all that new. It's just more prevalent these days. You just see it.
Well, we're looking for it.
Yeah, well, not only are we looking for it, it used to happen quietly. People embarrass themselves quietly and peacefully amongst themselves and their friend groups. Now it's all over the world. And for some reason, they post it themselves. And you're going, why are you doing this? So, but there's also the thing, if she's questioning his motives for having these meltdowns, then, maybe that's a trust your gut moment as well.
Really?
Well, we're giving him too much of a free pass when there's not necessarily, we're giving him a pass. Okay, he's got anxiety, which might be very well true. But at the same time, he may have learned over his life that claiming anxiety and whatnot can get him his way. And so now he's pulling it off as a manipulation tactic. We're human. You can't rule that out. You don't even necessarily have to do it on purpose. You could just be doing it because it works. At least it's worked in the past. Going through school and whatnot, you get all kind of special treatment by being. I'm just saying. So it's not impossible that he is, at least subconsciously, pulling some type of manipulative behavior. May not even be related to her. It's just maybe how he deals with conflict because he doesn't know any other way, or it's been successful for him in the past.
Well, obviously, or wouldn't keep doing it. But now he's in a different situation. He's got a girlfriend now.
And now he's no longer it was minor or some kid in college who doesn't have any real responsibilities.
Yeah.
Yeah. Life is always somewhere down the street. That's future me's problem. Well, now it's future me. And and you haven't prepared future me to deal with these situations. So that's the problem with kicking the can down the road to future you, right?
Eventually, future you has to cash in.
Has to cash in. And if you haven't done anything to prepare him, life's going to suck for him, which is true. It's his problem. You're not there yet, but eventually you'll catch up to him. That's 100% of the time. All right. So do we give her a good answer? Probably not, but I almost wanted, my gut instinct actually tells me to trust her instincts.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I'm pretty tolerant of people's foibles.
Yes, you are.
But one way or another, this is an immature.
Well, I think there's a grain of salt there. He may be ramping it up a little bit to get his way, to really make his point. Maybe he wasn't heard before, so he feels he has to embellish a little bit to get his point across.
Yeah, maybe she doesn't listen as well as she thinks she does.
She doesn't what?
She doesn't listen as well as she thinks she does.
Well, maybe.
But even still, there seems to me like there's an immaturity issue.
There's something going on here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe this is a lesson he needs to learn the hard way.
Okay.
Okay.
Have you witnessed an office prank that cost someone their job?
Well, office pranks, no, because I try to stay away from guys. Okay. Historically, I have tried to stay away from carpet walkers. So I don't know the kind of pranks they pull in offices. Now, I can tell you the kind of pranks we pull in warehouses. And generally speaking, the pranks don't cost you your job, but you can have people not pleased at you for a while. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But they're usually not pranks. The things that get you fired generally aren't pranks. They're just you being stupid. So, I mean, I've seen some doozies, or at least seen the remnants of some doozies. So the guy backed out with the stick still up and ripped the door off the thing.
Ooh.
Or I wasn't there. The night shift crew did something and somehow knocked the gas pipe loose from the heaters in the ceiling.
Stop it.
Yeah, I've seen all kinds of stuff. So these things, those aren't office pranks. But okay, the fact that they were, is it a prank to be singing songs in Russian and doing donuts in a warehouse when you hit the pipe? Is that a prank? Maybe it might qualify as a prank.
I knew this one individual. Well, actually, it was more than one. They would do those pallet races and pallet jack races.
Mm-hmm.
And the camera caught him, and everyone was fired.
Why are you going to fire everybody for pallet jack races? You just tell them not to do it again.
I don't know. Apparently they had.
No, well, no. Because you can't say not, you have to tell them not to do it, because otherwise your insurance company gets all mad at you when they hit a little pebble and one of them goes flying face first into a wall. It's that's the problem. The guy generally probably doesn't care, except for the insurance cares.
Yeah.
Always bummers, man. Those insurance guys.
I know.
Bean counters. Spoil sports, party poopers, all that good fun stuff. Okay.
Just saw this. Most Gen Z workers struggle to live on their own. Is anyone actually surprised? In this economy, no.
In no economy. So I want to know, since when has the generation who's youngest, the beginning generation, has ever not struggled when they've gotten out and survived on their own? When has that ever been a case?
When is it ever?
I get it. It's tough out there. I understand. And the challenges are different than the challenges I faced. I faced, which are different than the challenges you faced. But every single person who are beginning their lives face this problem. It's nothing unique to Gen Z or millennials or Gen X. We all had to face it. We had to share a 2-bedroom apartment with 3 other people.
Yeah.
It's just the way it was.
Yeah.
You did that for 6 months until someone could save up enough money to move in with their boyfriend or girlfriend, until that blew up in your face and you went and couch surfing again. You guys haven't invented anything new. Doesn't help you at the moment, but you're not this unique victim. This is just what happens when you're young.
It's called salad days for a reason.
Now, we could argue that there's a cultural problem that we have these days that we didn't used to have, where families stuck together longer, both on the front side and the back,
Yeah.
but it wasn't as universally true as we like to think.
Mm.
But also now with our more, urban lifestyle, it's hard to do that in the city. You could still pull it off in the suburbs.
Yeah.
But that's when 60%, 70% of people were living in rural areas, and it was easy to live with your parents because you had 40 acres to go goof around on. You didn't have to deal with them all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You saw them at mealtime,
Yeah.
and in the evening. But then you escaped to your room.
Well, and for most of that time, they didn't have like light bulbs and stuff.
Yeah.
So once the day was over, the day was over. And now we live a whole different lifestyle than those times did. So comparing us to them isn't really relevant. But this is just what happens with first generation.
It always does.
Always has.
Yeah.
So does it help you live on? Does it help them any? No.
I would think it does, It's just like, okay, this is just a period in my life. This will change.
Yeah, but we didn't, sadly, for whatever reason, these kids didn't learn about periods of their lives. I don't know. Did any of us ever?
Well, I knew I strove, but I started early. I went into the Army at 17, man.
Well, I think maybe there is a difference, is they have a lot of people telling them the world is ending, the world is over, it's the worst it's ever been, there's no hope for the future.
Oh, poor little things. No.
And even us, when we were worried about bombs, doing nuclear bomb drills, hiding under our desks every time you hear the siren. The siren.
I know.
But at some point, we all just stopped caring. We all thought about it it's like we kind of universally at some point thought about it. Well, this is dumb. Why would you want to survive the nuclear bomb? And so we just stopped caring and just went on about our lives and screw it and had a good time anyway. And for better or for worse, I'm not necessarily saying that was a good thing or a bad thing, but we all just kind of shrugged our shoulders and screw it and went on about life. Maybe that's why Gen X is so screwed up. We just kind of decided, the bomb could fall on our head any minute now. Screw it. Let's just go have some fun. And
that's what happened.
Now we don't care about the world because the world don't care about me. Why should I care about it? I don't know. But I do feel bad for them because they don't have enough people telling them that this is just part of life and you just keep grinding. And next thing you know, you're at level 10 and you can actually do things.
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Level 10.
Well, it's a video game reference.
I know. All right. Prospective employer wants me to quit current job before they make an offer.
No, you don't quit your current job until you've got a signed offer on your. Right, that's sketchy.
That's what I thought.
Now, there could be, I guess technically there might be some industries that have some weird rules and regulations, but man, I'd be very sketchy.
That'd be very.
Well, one, if that's the culture of the place, do you really want to work?
Do you want to work there?
For some place that behaves like that? That's a cultural red flag. Again, if it's some Defense Department thing or something, maybe I can understand, right? You're working for a defense contractor or something like that. All right. You have weird rules and things like that. It might make some sense. But you may have some agreements to not poach employees And so to get around that, you have to quit before they give you an offer. So there's little faith there. But outside of those rare circumstances, and quite frankly, you would know if you were in those circumstances. So
You think so?
probably
Okay.
you should know
Should know, yeah.
if you're in those circumstances.
Okay.
So I would be very skeptical of that, frankly, just from a cultural perspective. Forget about any, they're playing some kind of games, then how often, where else are they going to play games? They're playing games hiring you. How often are they going to play games with you? Oh, excuse me. Hiccup there.
Yeah.
It's not a good cultural sign.
No, it's not.
Barring special circumstances, right?
Okay. What is the worst example of the cure being worse than the disease from your workplace? It's just stupid little rules that, because one person did something, now everybody is not allowed. Everybody has to change their behavior and do something different.
Mine are, generally speaking, budgetary related. It's you give people money for equipment, but you don't give them money for anybody to do anything with equipment. So you end up with closets full of stuff that no one can use because there's no one to use them. You'd be better off not have spending that and money on that equipment and hiring another person, even part-time, just to do some of the work. And it happens in every place, every industry, anything that gets a certain size, a budgetary size where you're making decisions. And the reason is it's easier to justify equipment than people.
Is it?
On paper? Sure.
Yeah.
Remember, you have to write a paper and propose all these things. It's far easier to justify equipment on paper.
Okay.
So that's why it happens. And also remember, equipment's a single one-time cost. You hire somebody, that's a cost that goes on and on and on. Or you have to do an unfortunate thing of let them go.
Yeah.
Of course, you also could be investing in a future, a future high-level employee if you're smart about this thing.
Sure.
But immediate budgets are immediate budgets. And in times of, budget, can't even say shrinkage because the budgets aren't actually shrinking. It's just the margins are getting tight and people's wants are getting bigger. And so there's essentially more, the pie is getting bigger, but there's more people wanting more of it, which essentially ends up happening is nothing gets done properly. Because instead of say, okay, we only have so much, we're going to have to focus on core objectives, and everything else is going to have to survive on its own. As tough as it is, until you get budgets right?
Yeah.
Just like a household, in a sense, it's just like a household budget, but it's not, right? Corporate budgets, you have bridge loans and stuff you can get through a rough patch. Same thing with governments, right? Money is fungible.
Fungible.
They can fund programs now that need the money with programs that, with money that's supposed to fund a program now, but we're going to delay that program for a year and give that money for this one. And then we're going to give the program from over here their money next year, and it'll all work out in 3 years. Whether it does or not, no one cares because no one can follow all that mess. And that's how budget. How do you think government budgets get bloated? And no one can track it. Right? This is how it happens. And some of it is understandable and some of it's not. And that's the hard part of it, is deciphering the two. Because some of it makes sense and logic to do when you're talking about core missions and things like that. And other things are just you're flushing money down a toilet, essentially. And, sadly, with borrowed money or high opportunity cost, you could be doing something else with it.
Okay.
But Anyway, we'll move on. Yeah.
Okay. I feel like she wants to keep me hidden or a secret. No, she won't introduce him to family or friends.
Yeah.
She's just not ready yet.
I have a daughter like that. So
Maybe she did it before and it was awful. And she just doesn't want to deal with it again right now.
yeah, maybe she feels like here's the other thing. Maybe it's not you she's trying to keep the secret. Maybe you're not the one she's embarrassed by. It's her family that she's embarrassed by. I want you to meet these people. There's lots of reasons, right? She could also think that that's a level of commitment she's not ready to make simply because she's too young to want to make it. We're talking 21 years old.
Yeah, she's 21.
So I don't know. I understand part of the concern, but you also don't say how long this has been going on.
No.
Is it 6 months or 6 weeks?
No. They just started dating.
Oh, stop it. You haven't earned that right yet. That's all that is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And those other things could very well be true as well, right? She might be embarrassed by her family and all that kind of stuff, but you're not serious enough for that to be a thing yet. So don't worry about it.
Like I said, she ain't ready.
Yeah. And I got a daughter like that. So yeah, you deal with it or you don't.
How long has she been with him?
I don't know. She may have even changed by now. Who knows, man? She don't tell me nothing. I have to ask her grandmother to find out. And it's not like we don't talk. We were texting earlier. It's just she does this.
It's just not one of the things she talks to you about.
No, I think she thinks I jinx it. I don't know how that happens. That's the rumor from the family chat.
You jinx it?
I jinx it. But when she introduces the thing to her current interests to the family, like within 6 months, it's over. Of course, the problem is that's kind of how the relationship things work. You get serious and you find out you're not serious enough, and it moves on. And it's just part of the cycle of relationships that don't work out.
Yeah.
But in my daughter's mind now, I'm jinxing. I'm the jinx. So be it.
Yes, you want her to be alone forever. My little girl will remain pristine.
Well, that ship sailed a long time ago. So I'm not worried about that. I'm just, hey, whatever. She is what she is. So, okay.
Coworkers so bad, I get home shaking and nauseous. I used to have a boss that would make me cry. I'd cry every day on my way home from work.
Well, the only real way to deal with this is, if it's a big enough company, you can deal with HR and go that path. If
it's a coworker. He was a boss. Mine was a boss.
But I always solve these things by finding someplace else to work. And again, it's an easy off the cuff answer, right? Because just go find someplace else. That's right. But we all know life isn't that easy. That is the best answer, is to find someplace else that has a work environment that better suits you.
Mm-hmm.
That is the correct best answer, but it's not always practical, at least in an immediate sense.
You're right.
So you try to deal with it. I don't want to assume she hasn't tried to deal with it or they haven't tried to deal with it. I'm assuming I don't think most guys don't go home shaking and nauseous. They may go home and kick things in the garage, but they don't.
Yeah, it's a she.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd go to HR, man.
Well, yeah, we're assuming they have.
Well, you go to your supervisor, or you go to their supervisor.
Yeah, but my guess is everybody sees whatever's happening.
Yeah, but you have to formally go through steps.
Well, if the company's big enough, we're assuming that it's a large enough company to have an HR department. Like we don't have one. We have a HR company consultant thing we call when we have HR issues. We don't have our own HR department.
Okay.
Yeah. maybe you have one of those to call, and you can deal with that way. There's that.
I'd head to HR, man.
Yeah,
But I didn't go to HR. I just.
well, and here's the problem.
I worked so hard that I got another, and they promoted me, and I got another boss, and he was much better.
Well, let's see. I spent far too much time on assembly line floors and warehouses and whatnot to give an appropriate answer to people on this one. Yeah, there's ways to respond to this. None of them are particularly legal, but there's lots of ways to respond to this. Some of them can get you fired and put in jail. But there's ways to get revenge. But I would not suggest that.
Well, no.
Because that's actually a reflection of you, how you respond to these things.
Yeah.
Okay. In the long term, you go through the process of that. You follow Christina's, right? The other side is you find the people in your work environment who have the same perspective on what's going on as you do. So it's not just you whining about it. This guy, whoever's doing this behavior is probably universal. It's rarely directed at a single person. The people are generally just crass human beings, right?
Yeah.
So you can deal with that. And the third one is hire a comedian to write you some comebacks. But my suggestion long term is to find a different job. But working to get them fired is another option.
Stop it.
Well, there's the two options, right? You move on or they move on. I didn't have a good answer for this one, so. Well, okay, I have plenty of answers for this one. I just don't have any I can say on that I could tell publicly. There's lots of things you shouldn't do. I can tell you lots of things you shouldn't do. Maybe that's how I should go. Here's all the things you shouldn't do.
Stop it. Get him fired.
Well, I need more details. I do need a bit more details.
Okay.
Because one version of in the modern world, I've seen people shake because and be nauseous because someone used the wrong pronoun to somebody else, and someone wasn't even the other person wasn't even offended, right? But they're so offended for them that they get all worked up. So I do need a bit more details because she may very well be overreacting. I'm not gonna say she is because I don't know. I have enough information. But we're assuming that her reaction is reasonable. Her reaction may not be reasonable to the circumstances that are. He may very well just have some cultural disagreements. She's going to have to learn to work with people who have, cultural disagreements.
Okay.
So, yeah, that is another possibility. As I shotgun the approach to some kind of an answer on this thing, there is a second perspective. She may not be being reasonable. I mean, because unless someone is sexually harassing you, and did she say that?
No.
She's just saying he's an awful person. She can't stand being around him.
Yeah.
So
he's abusive. He's, one of those sarcasm people, that doesn't do it very well.
Okay, I said, well, I'm a sarcasm person.
You making it? But you aren't. You aren't vicious.
Yes, I am. What are you talking about?
No, you're not.
I can be.
Yeah, not to me.
Well, I can be. That's what I'm just saying.
Well, I can be a vicious, what too.
So I'm just saying. I'm guessing there's a little bit of both on this one. She's being a little sensitive. He probably is being an inconsiderate jerk. Don't get me wrong, right?
Yeah.
Workplace behavior, but she's probably also taking these things personally when it's really not about her.
Okay.
Right? If this is just how he is, he's not being mean. He's trying to be funny, and he's not, which comes off as mean.
I once had somebody at work. I was overweight. He said, "You're as big as a billboard."
You know what's funny? You say this. I've been watching these shorts. I guess she's the weather girl or the
Mhm,
weather woman in some station somewhere, and she's a thick lady.
uh-huh,
She looks good, but she's a thick lady, and so she gets comments on social media
uh-huh.
about her weight, and she sits there and she reads them, and she has a great sense of humor about these things because some of these things are not pleasant, but she laughs. You know? Yeah. On occasion, she gets offended by ones, but for the most part, she kind of leans into it. She's having a good time with it. She's becoming a big social media star
Ooh.
because not because of how she's responding to this. She's just
Mhm,
going with it. She's
mhm.
leaning into it now.
Yeah,
She's the
yeah,
yeah. And so people now are posting trying to get red on her thing.
yeah.
And so now they're getting even better, right? Because people are
Yeah,
trying to get creative to
yeah,
get me.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah.
And so I don't even think people are being mean to her at this point. I just think they're trying to get something that she'll read. And so she's kind of leaned into it.
Yeah,
So if he is looking for a power move, there's the other option is you can just take away all the power
take away all the power.
if that is what he's doing. But I suspect he's just not very good at what he's trying to pull off. And she's a little sensitive. You put those two things together and you've got a soup of poop, shall we say.
Mm.
Yeah. So for no good answer to that whole question, there you go.
There you go.
Life doesn't always give us fair choices, but it does give us moments of clarity, tiny flashes that remind us we deserve steadiness, respect, and room to breathe. Hold on to that as we move into the next chapter of tonight. Have a good night. Please remember to love everybody.